I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Smart meter fires, we never hear anything about them in BC in the major stream media, but you say there are some people in Florida very sorry that they had a smart meter on their barn.
That's right. There was a major racehorse facility, and in the barn, the smart meter was on a south wall, and somehow or other it started arcing, and it set the hay on fire in the middle of the night, and 12 beautiful, healthy racehorses were killed. They were able to save 11, some of whom were badly burned, but they think the rest of them will pull out. But I have the fire inspector's report, and they say that the fire started on the south wall with arcing in the area of the smart meter, and that was the only thing that was on the south wall. Very, very sad. And we're having more fires here. To be completely honest, I haven't been pursuing them as diligently as I had in the past because I thought I had enough evidence. How many fires do you need to show have happened before someone in the government is going to prick up their ears and say, we've got a problem? Last July, I sent evidence of many fires and many meter failures to the BC Utilities Commission, along with a report 2 or 3 months after. I sent a report of a fire in Port Alberni that was due to a smart meter, and I sent the statement from the certification body in the States that admitted that utility companies and meter companies were concerned because the design flaws in the meters were responsible for fires. But so far, nothing's happened. So I guess I'm going to have to start digging more into fires again and ramp this up again. How many fires, Jim, have to happen before somebody does something? Do they just think we're going to ignore this and allow it to continue happening?
Didn't you send out a number of certified letters to government officials?
Yes, and never heard from one of them. Certified letters to Bill Bennett and to every single solitary MLA. The MLAs did not get certified letters because certified letters cost $10 each, but certified letters went to Bill Bennett and John Horgan and Adrian Dix. And letters, land letters and email letters, went to every MLA. And I received not one response.
Now, why is it in Saskatchewan, when they saw the first problems with smart meters, that government withdrew them? Why is BC digging in their heels and not only not doing anything, but refusing to acknowledge that there could be problems?
I wish I knew. You know, I'm cynical enough to think that money is at the root of it, because money seems to be at the root of everything. John Horgan and Adrian Dix have said over and over, ever since this started, that it was an expensive program, that we couldn't afford to do it. I've given them fodder to ask for a recall. These things are defective. This cannot be denied. They have design flaws. They have many features that cause arcing. They are plastic. They are combustible. They should be asking for a recall. And Itron knew that these things were dangerous when they sold them to Hydro and to Fortis. They knew it, and yet they went ahead and sold it. I think they should be brought before a court for selling a dangerous product. But nobody will respond to this. If they did a recall, we would get all of our money back, all of the money that's been spent, the $1 billion And we could probably also get a significant portion of our legacy fees back. Why should we be spending $32.40 a month to have our house safer, to not have to worry about it burning down or having our children irradiated? We shouldn't. I wish I knew, Jim. If I had the answer to your question, I would be so much happier, because none of this makes any sense to me.
What's the status of your class action lawsuit?
Nothing. We haven't heard word one from the judge yet. And it's been since the beginning of December. I have no idea how much longer this is going to take. But as I've said so many times, even after it's certified, this is just the beginning. It will take a long time. And we don't have that time. We've got to get out there and fight to get these things recalled before more people are hurt. The fact is, Jim, class action lawsuits have been devised for the sake of the corporations. They're expensive and they're hard. And it can take such a long time that it discourages many people from even attempting them. Frankly, I think individuals should be thinking about suing Hydro and suing Itron for willful negligence. We should be looking at it, and I haven't done it yet. I intend to, but I haven't. We need to find out the legal steps to say, look, we're not going to take this anymore. I shouldn't have to pay extortion to protect my family and my home.
Now, the basis behind the lawsuit, again, what is it? That
the class action?
Yes.
It's our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Under the federal Constitution, we have a right, under Section 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, to live in our homes safe from any intrusion by a government or government agency that we think would be dangerous. And the basis for that determination is there evidence that an intelligent or reasonably intelligent person could study and come to the conclusion that these things are potentially dangerous? And you and I both know there's a lot of evidence for that, both from a health perspective, from a radiation perspective, from a fire perspective. We addressed in the class action when it started in 2013, we didn't have a lot of information on fires. I was just starting my investigation into fires at that time. So the class action is addressed to the fact that these are radiation-emitting devices that have been classified, or that the radiation has been classified as a 2B, as a possible human carcinogen. In most law, in most acts, for instance, in the BC Work Safety Act, it says workers should not be exposed to a 2B carcinogen if a safe alternative is possible. Smart meters could be wired. They're wiring them in many countries. First of all, we don't need them. They don't do anything for us. It's a flim-flam that the utility companies and the meter companies are pulling on us, because all they should be doing is reading our consumption numbers, and the analogs did that just fine. Nobody is reducing their usage thanks to a smart meter. It's behavioral changes that will reduce consumption numbers. And they say that smart meters will help you know when you've got an appliance that uses electricity. Don't you know that if you've got your washing machine on, it's using electricity? I do. And don't you know if you've got a light on in a room that you're not using, you're wasting electricity? Every child knows that. Every mother says, turn the light off when you leave your room. We don't need a smart meter to tell us this. So it's a flim-flam. The companies are raking in money, and they will rake in more money after they start selling our data. And they will. I've sent article after article where the industry is rubbing its hands together, talking about how the data can be used by third parties. Jim, this is something I'd like to tell your listeners. On March 29th, There was an article from an attorney general in the U.S. who wrote to all of the customers and told the utility companies they had to tell their customers that data off the smart meters was at such a level that it would be valuable to sell. It's a granular level. You can tell what appliance you're using, how often you're using it when you're home, and this will become even more readily available as people begin to have to buy smart devices. Every appliance that's coming out now has a Zigbee chip in it that will be sending signals to the smart meter. Your refrigerator will be sending signals, and it will be sold on the basis of your refrigerator will be able to tell you when you're low on milk. Thanks a lot. It will be able to tell when you're using your toaster, when you go to bed. All of this stuff will be available to, and utility companies and other companies, marketing companies, insurance companies, want this data. So this Attorney General in the States told the utility companies that they had to tell their customers that this was possible and they could do it. Also, she wanted to make sure that the customers knew that if the utility company came with an enticement, saying, for instance, I'll reduce your bill by $5 each month if you allow us to use your data, many people will agree to that. They don't realize when they say, and they will put it in such a framework where you'll think it's not out of the ordinary, no, it's not dangerous, it's not invasive. So I took this information and I sent it to our Attorney General. And I said, can you please tell me if BC Hydro and Fortis BC have restrictions placed on them regarding our data and how it can be used? Also, have you put restrictions on BC Hydro and Fortis BC asking them or telling them that they must not use incentives to obtain agreement to sell their people's data? I got a letter back, a form letter yesterday from the Attorney General's letter, basically a form letter. And it said, thank you for your email. Discuss this with the BC Utilities Commission.
And what's the BC Utilities Commission stand on smart meters?
They cannot get involved with anything. You and I know this. The Clean Energy Act and Direction 4, which was the Meter Choice Program, stated clearly and unequivocally that the BC Utilities Commission has absolutely no authority to get involved in any aspect of the smart meter program except setting rates. I've asked the BC Utilities Commission about data protection, and that's the answer I get. They have no authority. So I wrote back last night, and I was really quite incensed, and I wrote a letter that probably was more strongly worded than it should, but I accused the Attorney General's office of deliberate obfuscation. They did not answer my questions, and this is a serious issue. They cannot just brush it aside. We have a right to know what's going to happen to our data. Can BC Hydro and can Fortis sell it? And can they fool people into agreeing to sell it? You and I both know that there are many people out there who are much more agreeable. I use the word naive, and I don't mean to say that nastily, but they aren't aware of how insidious this stuff is. And they could agree for $5 a month, or for a dinner out, or for whatever incentive Hydro would decide to give. We'll give you a little bit more insulation, weather stripping to put around your doors if you allow us to sell your data. Or they wouldn't say sell your data, but use your data to help improve the situation. They put it in terms that are terribly misleading. Some of them that I've seen is, your data is valuable in helping us to make this a greener world. Everyone wants this to be a greener world. That's how the Green Party, Elizabeth May is one of the most knowledgeable ladies I know, got to support the smart meter program because they told her it was green.
Green, though, probably stood for money.
Yep. Only the green is the money that's going into the corporation's pocket. You got it.
What has the BC Privacy Commissioner said about it?
Every time I've asked, she said She made her report on the privacy issue in her December 2011 report, and she has nothing more to say. In 2011, she reviewed the encryption that BC Hydro was doing, and she determined it was not quite up to snuff, but she was sure that Hydro would improve it. You can read, if you go on and you look at the December 2011 report by Denham on the security of the smart meter data, you'll read it, and it's very disappointing. It's very shallow and incomplete, but that's her response. I've written to the BC Association for Civil Liberties Association. There's a lawyer there. Her name is Michael Vaughn, and yes, it's a female, Michael Vaughn, V-O-N-N. And she said that she will gather information, but there's nothing they can do until our privacy has been breached. And how do you prove your privacy has been breached? If Hydro is selling this to a marketing company, and they discover that your refrigerator is 10 years old and probably needs to be replaced, and you start getting ads from appliance companies, how do you know it's due to Hydro selling your information? And that's what you have to show before you can lay any charges.
We'll have more with Sharon Noble right after the break.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Unbelievable harmony, spectacular performance, the ultimate tribute to the Everly Brothers and Simon & Garfunkel. Bird Dog and the Vintage Electric Band coming to West Vancouver Friday, May 6th at the K-Meek Center. Buy online and save at ontourtickets.com.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sharon Noble. Sharon, Ontario Hydro is now moving for time of use billing. Do you think BC is going to follow suit?
Yes, I do. And I believe that for several reasons. First, in their initial business case, when they told the BC Utilities Commission, they didn't tell anybody, because they did tell them, they informed them in the business case. The BC Utilities Commission couldn't do anything about it except file it. But in it, BC Hydro noted that one of the prime justifications for smart meters was to be able to implement time-of-use billing. And for those who don't know, time-of-use billing allows the utility company to charge different rates for different times of day. Right now, the analog meter just gathers total usage for the 30-day or 60-day period. A smart meter sends signals as often as Hydro wants. They say every 15 minutes. It can be every minute. We don't know. It's subject to change. They can tell how much you're using at any time during the day. And when there's a peak, and there are a lot of people using electricity, they can charge more. In most places, it's usually from, say, 7 in the morning until, say, 5 in the afternoon. When people are cooking, washing, corporations need the electricity to run their businesses and whatever. And the price of electricity can be much higher than at other times of the day. They can also do it, for instance, and it's very flexible. They could do it from, say, 7 till noon, and then 3 to 8, so that when you're cooking, when you're washing dishes, at night after you come home from work, bathing the kids before they go to bed, this would be the time when you would pay your higher price. They would put lower prices at hours during the night, say from 1 in the morning until 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning, when most people are sleeping. And they would encourage you to do your washing, your dishwashing, your clothes washing, whatever, in the middle of the night. And new appliances, the smart appliances, are being sold with timers in them, so you can do this. Now what's interesting, and this is kind of a bit of an aside, but the Firemen's Association, in several different areas, one in Ontario, a couple in the States, have put out statements saying, do not do this. It's very dangerous to have an appliance, like a major appliance, like a dishwasher or a washing machine, on while you're sleeping. They could fail. Appliances fail. You see fires all the time caused by electronics and machines and appliances failing. And if you're sleeping, you won't know it. You're not there to fix it. So they're saying, no, do not do this. But this is the prime motive of the time of use billing, to get people to do some of their stuff at off-peak hours. And they will be charging different rates for different times of the day to, quote, encourage you to do this. Now, this will not be to the benefit of those who are most vulnerable. The most vulnerable people in our society will be home during the day. Those are those people with young families, people who are not working because they're disabled, or the elderly. Those people who are home all day need to have the heat on, want to have some television, will be using their computers, maybe washing dishes. They will pay through the nose. Their rates could be 2 or 3 times higher than they are now. And in Ontario, they went through a rate restructuring review, which led ultimately to an introduction. They are now asking for permission to implement time of use billing in some areas in Ontario. Not all areas yet, but in some areas. BC Hydro has an application that they submitted last September, and it's before the BC Utilities Commission for a rate restructuring. And I haven't read all of Ontario's, and neither have I read all of British Columbia's. It's several thousand pages long. But from the sounds of it, it's following the same pattern as the pattern that was in Ontario. And it's time now for BC Hydro to start introducing time of use billing. They had it, as I said before, in their initial business plan, and the goal was to have the infrastructure in place by July of 2012. When I looked at the updated business plan for the status, I believe at the end of 2012, maybe it was 2013, that goal had been met. So the infrastructure is in place and ready to go. It's just waiting for the majority, for everyone to get their smart meters. Because you and I both know that people will fight this. It is not to anyone's benefit to have time of use billing. Or if it's to somebody's benefit, it's not very many people's benefit. It's going to be financially very, very difficult for many people.
Sharon, is there a website people can go to find out more information about issues surrounding smart meters?
We have 2 of them, Jim. www.stopsmartmetersbc.com. That's where most of the information about fires and about cybersecurity, things like that, is kept. And then we have www.citizensforsafetechnology.org, and that's where the health studies and our class action lawsuit information is kept.
Sharon, thanks a lot for chatting with us.
My pleasure, as always, Jim.
My guest has been Sharon Noble, Director of the BC Coalition to Stop Smart Meters. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our popular YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. Comments about the show can be emailed to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.